Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On Sunday, as the rains continued to fall and the waters continued to rise, I received many phone calls from a number of folks telling me about what they saw on the news, on TV. It seems a big fella was spotted up to his neck in floodwaters helping pull people to safety. Take a look at the video that we've got.
Continues our team coverage with some hard-working firefighters in East Nashville who literally pulled nearly 50 people to safety.
It's crazy. Best ride you ever had it.
All right. Thank you so much.
For a place named Marina Manor,
The rain just kept on coming and coming.
it would be nice if someone had a boat.
Boats are in high demand. If we had a boat, we'd use a boat, but there's several boats out in the city right now, and there's just none available.
That's the simple explanation why. Firefighters are rescuing people with an air mattress.
Thank you. We realized we was in trouble when we seen the water coming over the tires in the parking lot.
Now, I want you to understand these firefighters, they're doing this without life preservers. So to keep them safe, look what they've done. They've attached a line to a post, and these firefighters are holding on to this as they're walking through the floodwaters. They don't have the luxury of waiting.
So scared. Feel like we was in New Orleans.
Considering some of the 48 rescued can't swim.
They said I would be okay, so they did a good job.
Michelle Walker held on to that mattress
Let's put her up on the bank.
with her life,
Take it to baby, take it to baby.
while Chastity Brasher held on to something even more precious.
Scary because he wouldn't be still.
The rescue takes more than 2 hours, and the last one out is leaving a lot behind.
We done. I lose everything, my car, my apartment, my clothes, my money, my everything.
Everything, it would seem.
Very, very scary.
But what's most important? Sky on Fox 17 News.
And some good news. No one was hurt in that rescue. Some of the storm victims were taken to the Shriners shelter in East Nashville.
A North Nashville.
As you can see, one of our very own had a busy weekend. He didn't give a second's thought to risking his life. He was out there saving the lives of a lot of others. That's what firefighters do, they tell me. I know there are many parts of this city and in this state and around here in the Capitol that were underwater, and the waters are starting to recede. But as we begin to recover from this disaster, I believe we need to remember why we're called the volunteer state. You saw an example of that in the video. The people of Nashville and the people of Tennessee have shown throughout this entire crisis what it means to be a volunteer. They've jumped into raging waters, as you saw what our colleague did, without a second thought, just got right in there. They've opened their homes to strangers. They've opened their kitchens to people who are hungry. These are just examples of what these firefighters and others, volunteers around this state, have done. Mike's wife, Dinah, was going to be with us today, but ladies and gentlemen, she's busy at a shelter, volunteering, as she did all weekend. Mike's just one example of the thousands of people that have done so much for this state over this last weekend. We all should take pride in what we've seen out of each other over these bad days, this crisis that we've in. I want to thank you, Mike, for what you did, and thank all of those who put their lives to help keep us safe. Mr. Speaker, could the clerk read the resolution?
Mr. Clerk, read the resolution.
House Joint Resolution 1217 by Speaker Emeritus Nafee and others. A resolution to honor Captain Mike Turner, Ladder 3, Nashville Fire Department, for a singular act of bravery in the line of duty. Whereas our nation was conceived by individuals who were willing to sacrifice their personal concerns to ensure the public safety and welfare, and the volunteer state is especially proud to be the home of so many valiant men and women who have performed above and beyond the call of duty in service of the public safety. And whereas thousands of Tennesseans continue this time-honored tradition through service as firefighters and first responders, dedicating their time and efforts to aiding those in emergency situations. And whereas our friend and colleague, Representative Mike Turner of Nashville, is one such noteworthy public servant who, in his capacity as captain of Ladder 3 for the Nashville Fire Department, courageously responded to countless life-threatening calls during the Nashville flood. And whereas working well past his regular 24-hour shift this last weekend as unprecedented flooding swept through Davidson County, Captain Turner and his crew answered countless calls as he personally was seen on television standing in dangerous floodwaters using a makeshift raft to pluck an individual from the tree tops on the banks of the flooding Cumberland River. And whereas by putting his concern for this gentleman's safety before his own well-being, Captain Turner saved a life with the heroic actions he demonstrated. And whereas Captain Turner and the crafty firefighters were able to save the man by using a camping air mattress as a flotation device because they had run out of flotation devices as a result of the numerous evacuation and rescue calls they answered in the Nashville area. And whereas during their extended work week, Mike Turner and his firefighters rescued homeless people out of the Cumberland, rescued people from apartment houses, individual homes, and the roofs of businesses. And whereas the crew also transported over 78 people to a shelter one evening just to return to the same shelter early the next morning when it began to flood, rescuing the same individuals for the second time with help from other first responders and the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency. And whereas never knowing when an ordinary call could put them personally in harm, Captain Mike Turner and the thousands of heroic firefighters and first responders throughout Tennessee risk their lives daily seeking to assist and rescue the citizens of their respective communities. And whereas Captain Mike Turner of the Nashville Fire Department has performed his duties as a firefighter with the utmost skill, dedication, and professionalism, his service can only be characterized as outstanding, and he deserves proper recognition for his heroism as a public servant. Now therefore be it resolved by the House of Representatives of the 106th General Assembly of the State of Tennessee, the Senate concurring, that we hereby honor our friend and colleague, Captain Mike Turner of the Nashville Fire Department, for his meritorious service, commend his heroism in the line of duty, and offer our thanks to him and the entire Nashville Fire Department for a difficult job well done. Be it further resolved that an appropriate copy of this resolution be prepared for presentation with this final clause omitted.
Thank you, Mr. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and he did an extraordinary job this past weekend and is still doing it, and his wife is too. Would you like to say anything, Chairman?
Well, I thought I had more hair in there. That's the first time I've seen that video. It looks a little thin on top. Thank y'all. Y'all totally got me off guard here, but you know, it's kind of like the reason I was in the water because I don't know how to tie the knots and work the ropes like the rest of them do. So it wasn't really heroic. I just couldn't do the other jobs that need to be done. But it's kind of like the basketball coach said. He had great girls. I've got a great crew. All the Nashville firefighters are great. The men and women. We have had over 1,500 rescues this weekend. Now, that's not talking about people walking people out. That's talking about actual rescues, over 1,500 in the county. My particular crew had 148 people and one 150-pound dog we got over the weekend. But the volunteers and the people of Nashville and Middle Tennessee helped work the ropes and do other things. It was just amazing. TWRA was fantastic on that last rescue we did, and it was just a great effort. And you know, it's really, while it was going on, it wasn't a lot of, you know, the people cooperated. Wasn't a lot of fighting. It's just everybody kind of worked together. And it's thank y'all. Y'all caught me off guard, but thank you.